to the people if you understand, sing for me. Yeah. Power to the people if you understand, sing for me. Say you feel me. Power to the people if you understand, sing for me.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the People's Podcast. I'm your host, Ismail Shahid, or Paul as well. Freedom. The topic today is freedom. And why does it elude us? Why do we find it so hard as something to obtain? And we have there's all different. We're going to go through the different categories of obtaining freedom. But real freedom, this show is going to be a lot of questions for yourself. Like, you're going to have to look in the mirror and ask yourself a lot of these questions. Why? And what is freedom? What does it mean to you? What does it mean to us here? So we're going to give you as much aspects of freedom, of course, from our point of view, but for something you can think about moving forward. And how do you obtain it? And what does it mean to you? Before we get into it, make sure you like and subscribe at Podcast for the People 1, Ismail Shahid. You can find the People's Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Keep checking us out. We thank you for the support. It helps us grow. Freedom. How do we obtain it? The first things first on the freedom list. And now we're going to go down. Maybe we can do a checklist on it. And, if you have questions for yourself, or, I don't want to misspeak or say something that, is wrong. So, I'm going to do as much as I can to give us an outline or some examples of freedom and how we achieve it. Of course, you have this money. People have relationship goals. There's things that they have, but the first things first, and that's your relationship with your Almighty. You have to develop some type of relationship with your Almighty. And that being so important, it's that so top on the list. Before you can get to the point of, having good relationships and, achieving financial freedom and, gaining wealth and, but the first thing on the first is your relationship with your Almighty, and developing that and creating that into something that is real. Is real. I hear so many people saying now that religion is the problem. Religion is the problem. Everybody's going after the churches and the mosque and the Muslims and the imams and the rabbis is causing havoc in the world because of religion. And, religiously you get up and you go to work every day. Religiously you work that job every day. Religiously you do these things. Religiously you do these things every single day. If the Almighty gives you that opportunity to get up every day and go to work, so religiously you go to work. Religiously, everybody on Sunday watches football. Everybody on Super Bowl Sunday watches the Super Bowl. And, you don't even watch football all year, but you watch the Super Bowl on Super Bowl Sunday. That's things that you do religiously. That's religiously. But this here, how I live and how I've chosen to live and my family have chosen to live, is deen. It's deen. It's a way. It's a way that is providing my heart and my mental state freedom. A total social, moral, economic, and political system. That's deen, the way. And you could choose to follow it. You could choose to research it yourself and follow it yourself, or gain or obtain the knowledge of deen or Islam or deen if you want to or not. I'm just giving you, like I said in the beginning, these are questions that you're going to have to ask yourself. You're going to have to look in the mirror and really have to ask yourself, where am I at in my life? What have I done to obtain real freedom? Real freedom. So that's the first part of it. That's the first part of it, is your relationship with your Almighty Creator. And you have to develop that, and you have to make that a solid, cemented structure where it's unbreakable. Your next is, you have things that you want to do in life, passions that you have, You may want to be, a professional field, or there's some career choice that you chose. Education is going to be your first, thing to elevate you above that. You want financial freedom. You're going to have to put the education behind it. You're going to have degrees. And my biggest thing is the trades. I'm huge on the trades: electrician, carpentry, plumbing, masonry, heavy equipment, whatever it is. The trades is my my chosen field is plumbing. But I push the trades more so. I tell young youth about the trades and how how they can become a tradesman, and that's just where I'm at with it. But you may be going into another field, a professional or doctor, lawyer, engineer, whatever you may be doing. You're still going to have the education and degrees around it to obtain financial freedom for yourself and for your family. But the important part about financial freedom, because you can end up making so much money and don't know how to spend it. You can make millions of dollars and be broke next week. The important part about having financial freedom, so that you can do the things that you're passionate about. You may have something on the side that you want to do: feed the poor, humanitarian. You want to start a soup kitchen. You want to if you're a doctor, I want to open a free clinic in the hood, or I want to open a free clinic anywhere in any city. That people could come in and get basic checkups. So these things that you may be, there's your career, and there's things that you may be passionate about. Both take finances. Both take money. We're not telling you to worship money to have freedom. It's not about the worship of money. We live in the world. We're not of the world. Live in the world. Don't be of the world. Because if you're of the world, you're not achieving freedom that way. You're not going to have freedom that way. You get wrapped up in all of these things that everybody else is involved in, and everybody else's lives and celebrities' lives and all these things that's going on. We'll get to that point next, because that's the next thing on the topic, to keep you here and here. So when you first develop that relationship with your creator, and your heart is at peace and your life is at peace, and then you start to, obtain your education so that you can have financial freedom. Now you have to figure out where you can start spending, where you can start, saving, spending versus saving, and creating a budget for yourself and having good money managing sense. That's a huge part of freedom, money managing sense. So I'm not the guy sitting here telling you, I've learned through experience. Ups and downs, mistakes here and there. But I'm not the guy telling you that I know everything about, budgeting properly or financial. It just took some time to learn and understand how you're spending your money, where you're spending it at. But the important part about it is, if you're going about a career, you get your education, and you obtain a high level in your career where you're going to become a master in your trade, or you become a master in engineering, or you become, you start, in the ER, and you work your way up to becoming a doctor, and you have that high level of income coming in now. Understanding, the important part is understanding how to spend and budget that money properly, and you may have to seek help to do it. You may have to seek out and say, know where your strengths is at and know where your weaknesses is. But that's an important part of it. So now you have to figure out, okay, let me find out. You have YouTube and Google and all these people that's all over, the internet that talks finances. There's some people that's very good. In the comments, I may leave some people that I watch myself. And you can Google and YouTube how, moving money and spending in the proper way, and, budgeting properly is or get you to that financial freedom. Now, first you have, your relationship with your Almighty, which you are constantly working on. This is something, all these things you're constantly working on. You can't say, okay, let's part one of this is working on my relationship with the Almighty. I I have a good relationship, so now I could go to getting into my money aspect and chasing my bag. No, 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 no. You're constantly working on your relationship throughout all these processes, school, education, social, everything. You're constantly working on that first thing, which is that relationship with your Almighty. And then you get into the other aspects, social aspects. I mean, where do we go from here? How do you get, like I said before earlier, we know so much about the social lives of these actors, actresses, and movie stars, and all these people that's on the internet saying all types of things. We know so much about their lives. We know so we studied in everything. We're watching, maybe a court case or whatever that's going on, a divorce or two celebrities got a divorce or something that's going on, and everybody's talking about it and everybody's watching it. We so wrapped up in that. We're so wrapped up in their lives. We don't know that much about our own. We don't know that much about our, personal lives. They spreading their chaos all over the daggone world. And we so wrapped up in their chaos. And our families are in chaos. Our relationships are in chaos. That's one thing we're talking about. How do we obtain freedom? You have to have a good relationship within your home, and that takes work. That takes time. That takes energy. How do you have the energy to understand or research or know what's going on in somebody else's life when you're trying to obtain that freedom with your own relationships and your own children and your wife and everybody else around you and your brothers and your sisters and your mother and your father? So many people are at odds with their mother and fathers. And I could tell you, man, when you miss your father, you miss your father, miss my father every day. The Almighty forbid, I lose my mother soon or later on. I don't even know how I'm going to do that. I know people that don't have their mothers and their fathers here, and I don't understand that pain. Pain is pain. People that are losing children, going through that type of pain. Very, very difficult to put a child in the ground before you go in the ground. So these social things that we are all dealing with are a huge part of freedom. And we can't find ourselves caught up in, that social environment or the social conditioning that's going on in the world today and lose ourselves. Lose ourselves. Your relationship, going all the way back to the beginning, building your relationship with the Almighty, hopefully gets to the point of building the relationship of you understanding who you are, of you understanding your own self, so that you can understand your Creator and that you can obtain freedom. And you can obtain freedom, real freedom, where your heart knows peace, is content. You're not wondering what tomorrow is going to bring. You understand, you plan, and then the Almighty plans. But the important part about it is you plan. And those are the first steps to planning. Building that relationship, building up your professional career, whatever you choose, but reaching a high level with it. But when you reach a high level of that chosen career, knowing that you're going to need those degrees and educations and licenses that you need, and then moving on to the social part of it, having a good social balance. Okay, don't be, like we said, live in the world, don't be of the world. Understand that everybody's, watching what's going on in the world. You watch the news, you scroll social media. We all find ourselves scrolling social media from time to time, but it doesn't consume us. Don't let it consume you. Don't let it consume you to the point where you're so invested that you're not invested or reinvest in what you're doing and how you're building and how you're growing and what freedoms you have or don't have. So many of us are living in chains and we don't even know it because of social conditioning. Because of social conditioning. That phone grabs you, that you holding that phone and you looking at that phone all night long. You can't sleep. Remember what we said. You're constantly building that relationship with your Almighty. in those wee hours of the morning, 3, 4, 5 in the morning, for believers, for the Muslim that get up at before dawn to make Fajr prayer. You could be praying. You're not making salah. The Muslim are making salah, but who says you can't pray if you're not Muslim? You get up in the morning, you sit there, and you know, spiritual is not just saying, "Oh God." Oh God, you have to develop that relationship. That's why I explained to you about Deen, researching Deen, as a way for you, as a guide for you. You can use it or not. You can use it or not. I can give you that example. And again, I'm not saying that, I'm the most educated in Deen. I live my life as a humble Muslim. I'm a student myself, and I'm still learning myself. But every day, it's about how do I develop that relationship along with all of the things I'm doing, not getting caught up in, but building my career and becoming an excellent plumber and a licensed plumber, and not getting caught up in that social conditioning that's going on that we all going through. That's one of the biggest chains that's holding us down. Because guess what it's creating? It's still going to the next point of freedom. Losing that temper, anger. Everybody's so mad. You cut somebody off in traffic now, what they do, they chase you down, yell, scream at you. Maybe somebody's shooting at you because you cut them off in traffic. How many shootings in America right now because people are road rage? Because of the anger. Because of the social conditioning. And these are the things that are plaguing us, that are not allowing us to be free. It's not allowing us to be free. In conclusion, the whole point of today's topic is, what is freedom to you, and how do you obtain it? That's the whole point of today's topic. And you're going to have to, everyone individually has to sit down and look at themselves and say, what does it mean to me, and how do I obtain it? And you have to ask yourself real, honest, hard questions. And it's going to take a lot of self-checking. There's one thing that's important to moving forward with all of this is accountability. Accountability is going to be one of the most important things that you hold yourself to. It's going to be the standard that you hold yourself to with everything you're facing, social, financial, and your relationship with your accountability is going to be the biggest thing for you. It's going to be the biggest thing for us all. I was thinking about something, and again, in conclusion, I was thinking about something, how there's so many things going on. This is pertaining a little bit to social conditioning, and how, everybody's telling you, if a relationship is toxic, this is toxic. You get into an argument with somebody, nobody talks to anybody anymore. We're not talking to you no more. You're a toxic person. Leave me alone. But the one thing I've noticed on the internet, man, with so many of these type of messages, the accountability is the thing that's missing. Accountability is the thing that is the huge thing that's missing. Now, let me ask you a question. You may have, gotten to that point of you reached a level of education, or you reached a high level of spirituality, or anything you've done, you're trying to reach a high level of it. But during that road or along that path, you may hurt a few people. And we all, I don't know who's lived or lived as long as we have to, Allah be thanked, your 50s, 40s, whatever, however age you are. If you live or you still living, you haven't hurt anybody? No. We've all hurt people at one time. And now we clean our act up, so to speak, or find a way to clean our act up and change our trajectory and things that we're doing. And now the people that were hurt are attacking us in some sort of way or fashion, and we don't accept it. But now it's this person is toxic. We got to get rid of this person or this individual. Have some accountability for yourself and your actions constantly, because that's going to be the catapult to get us above, to have real freedom, to have open, wholehearted freedom within ourselves. That's going to be the major part of it. It's going to be a major part of it. So again, what's the question? The question stands, still remains. What is freedom to you? How do you obtain it? What are you doing? How do you get there? And of course, I like to end all the time because, we have chosen and been blessed to have, people in our lives to give us good guidance, and found a way to embrace Islam in the way we have. And it's, Deen has been our guide. Understanding Deen has been our guide, and you're always welcome. So I like to end a lot of times with welcoming you. Think about it. Welcome. Islam welcomes you. Deen welcomes you. Again, Deen is a total social, moral, economic, and political system in totality. And you can research it and find it for yourself. And you will understand that if you research and find it for yourself. It embraces every aspect of life. Every aspect of life. So I thank you for listening to the People's Podcast. I'm your host, Ismail Shahid. Again, like and subscribe on YouTube. Check us out. Keep checking us out. We appreciate the support. We're going to continue to grow, hopefully. Your prayers is welcome. May you find peace within yourself. May you find what that freedom means to you. May your family, if you're in turmoil, find peace within your family, and get to the point where it doesn't elude you anymore. Freedom. Real, honest, truthful freedom does not elude you. May you get to that point. And may we all get to that point. We meet up at that freedom road. We're all there looking at each other saying, we got there. We achieved it. Thank the Almighty. The Almighty be thanked. I'm your host, Ismail Shahid. Assalamu alaikum.